The exact same thing as C major, A minor and C major. You put your pinky on the 8th fret, that's a C. Go ahead, try that. You put your pointer finger on A, which puts you in the same place. And you get a A minor. And the thing that makes that sound major or minor is the chord progression you played over. If you play a chord progression that sounds like something that starts on C, for example, and we do all these minor chords, especially in the key of C, the 4. The way that you get a minor sounding chord progression is you play a chord progression that starts on A minor, and then you land on the notes that are in A minor. So if I do like say I do in that same key, but I start in A minor. On the A minor notes. The notes are A minor, and because the chord progression is starting on an A minor and ending on A minor, it's landing on those chords also. It sounds different. It's got a different tone color than and a different character than the major one. The major one sounds happy. The minor one sounds dark.
Yeah, right.
There's a thing called Dorian, and there are a bunch of these other modes. They're the same notes. If we take that pentatonic scale we just did and add some notes to it. Add your ring finger to it. And on the second string, add your middle finger. And on this string, add the note 1 fret below where your pointer is. And keep going on the string. Add your pinky on the 5th string. Again, it's ring on the string, middle on the second string, the slide note, and that string, nothing on the string, and pinky on this one, and ring again on this one. Those notes are the notes of the C major scale, the actual... Or the A minor scale. If I start on A and go down from there. Cool? So we have... That sounds minor. If I start on the A and end on the A.
Right.
It's the same scale, but if I start on the C, it sounds happy. Sounds like a major scale. If I can land on the C major scale, or the C major chord to really make it sound a little more majorish. Okay? Those scales will both work with those same chord progressions I just gave you.
Okay.
One thing that happens is if you play that same finger up on a D, and we're going to add a couple more. Add the blues note. We're going to use that because this is what's going to create a really cool sound. And when we move that up, we're going to get this basically the same fingering up on D, and you're going to be able to use that same scale in two different places. Okay, so play that scale one more time. Add the ring finger here. The middle finger here. That's the middle finger because we're going to change that up there. It's the only note that's going to change. Add the blues note. That F note, I'm going to take out the pinky note. We're just not going to play the notes in the major scale. We're just going to play the blues notes there. Here's the scale. So, the frets are 8, 7, 5, 8, 6, 5, 8, 7, 5, 4. And then just 7, 5, and 7, 6, 5, and then 8, 7, 5. So you get all these little added notes. Doesn't sound like much just sitting there. It's the most useful, most colorful scale that you will learn. It is.
Yeah.
It's absolutely, just like the pentatonics don't sound like much.
Yeah.
When you start learning how to do some of the really tasteful little licks in them,
Yeah.
they start becoming really useful. So let me do that again. Let me give you like a little chord progression. So we'll do the major one again. 1, 5, 6, 3, 4, 1, 3, 2, and 5. Here's the scale again. So here, not landing on the blues note. Blues note, because you're always things like sound bad. Don't land on the note. Yeah, if you land here, it's always going to sound bad. You never want to have, you always want to get through it quickly. Never land on the note. Sounds bad, right? If I do this, I go, oh, down here. Stay away from it, running, but barely picking up blues and sliding in there. I'm not going to. Don't do that. And we add this down. What we're going to do is we have a blot on this over here. your pointer finger on a D. And look how he added middle finger. You're going to get the exact same note. You look at what those notes are, change one note, middle finger note. You're going to end up being all the same notes. Play this. Those major chords up here don't look like this anymore. They look like this. Those are your leads. Right? So instead of doing this, down here. You'll have to get this C shape. And this key was G major. 12, 13, and then again, 9, 10, on the next string, and 12. Those are all before. You have it on the chords down here. It's going to sound good. I can pass it quickly. Always has one. Here, the exact same finger. On the 13th. Your ring finger. That's the indication for you. The exact same fingering. It's just on a D note up here. There's the other one. Now here we're changing the middle finger down here to the ring finger. Change from the remember, never land on the blues. It's going to add no. That's quite quickly. That's a lot of color to the line. You don't want to land on it. So it's going to sound wrong when we hit it. Sound wrong. Don't land on it. Fast. Now again, the color, the landing tones are 12, 13, 12, 9, 10. So we're here on these different fingers. Up here we're landing on these. Well, all the same licks, but differently. So we're doing like this classically. I know. Yeah. You know. That note is a 6-foot scale. If I went in here, I end here. Like an F, you know? I have to go to this one. In this scale, I have to land there. Here, if I do it, I have to land there. The idea? That's the difference between the modes. They're same fingerings. And the really nice thing about this is it turns out these are the same notes. Like if you took all these notes, that's a C major scale. It's the white notes on the keyboard. It's a C, a B, an A, a G, an F, an E, a D, a C, a B, an A, a G, an F, an E, a D, a C, a B, an A. It's all the same white notes. No sharps or flats. If you took this up here, it's the white notes again. We just changed one note. We changed that ring finger. So we get a F, an E, a D, a C, a B, an A, a G, an F, an E, a D, a C, a B, an A, and a G, an F, and E. It's all the same notes, just in different places. Because you're playing different notes with the same fingerings, you get different sounding licks. So this, in the chord progression, sounds different than, and you have to land in a different place. That's how effectively on the guitar the modes work. You're going to use the same fingerings, play the same licks in a different position, and land on different notes, and it'll give you different sounding licks. A whole new vocabulary of sounds from the same licks that you know down here. Okay? What you want to get is this scale. So
and this is an A minor.
It's a minor. It's also a D Dorian. These two scales, like this up here is a D Dorian, we're calling it D Dorian, a Dorian fingering, but it's really a C major scale. They're the same scales, they're the same notes.
Starting on D then.
Yeah, if you take the C major scale, you start on D, the same notes, we're just starting on a different note. So, what you think about this as is the same fingering in two different places that gives you a lot of the same licks that'll sound different in those two different places. You just have to learn where to land on the notes. That's the key. The fingering looks like that. What we're going to call the major fingering, this C major fingering, we use the middle finger. We're going to skip this, we're just going to do the blues finger. Now here's the same thing. The only thing you do is change it to the ring finger. Same thing. Second thing, change to your ring finger. And then we'll end on these notes. Well, here you end on 8, 5, 7, 8. On that same string. 10 pounds. Just end on top.
Okay.
The key is to get those ending notes because those are the ones you want to stop on.
Okay.
And they make it sound good. Okay.
Okay.
The whole key to getting the modes is to see that you can play the same fingering, but you have to end on different notes. That's the key. And you can use the same fingering, the same licks, but you get a totally different flavor from them because they sound on different notes.
But use the same chord.
We'll do more of the chord progressions. The key is really those chord progressions and knowing what notes to end on. We're going to have, like I said, you can have major ending notes and you can have minor ending notes.
Okay.
We're going to do the same minor. We just did the major ending notes. We're also going to add some minor ending notes to this so you start seeing where to get each of the different flavors from each of those same fingering patterns.
Okay.
The really beneficial thing about this is that you get to use more of the fretboard with the same fingering, the same scale, the same fingers, and all the same licks that you know. You just put it in a different place.
You get different sound.
The key is, you get different sound. The key is to know where to, what you have to learn is to end on different notes. You have to learn where those notes are. This thing up here is equivalent to this thing down here. And so if you get that, you've actually now got, you can do first and second position here, you can do the Dorian first and second position here, and then you're back into first and second position here.
So if I'm playing the C progression, I can do this one and do the
You can also do the D Dorian that you played. So the thing is to learn those. The pointer finger on the 10th fret, the pinky on the 13th fret. Same scale, the only thing you're changing is the ring finger.
So you're using the C major and D Dorian.
They're the same scale. The same scale. They're the same fingerings except for that ring finger on the second string.
Okay.
Learn those, and then the next step is just to find all these same chord progressions and learn where to end on the right notes. And it's all diagrammed out. I'll give you that as a diagram, a set of diagrams, so you can see where to put your fingers. It's one of the most useful things to help you use more of the fretboard with all the same licks you know. It'll give you a really nice change of pace from doing those same old tired licks.
Yeah.
Those same old tired licks will sound different up in you'll have different sounds. Yeah, they will sound different in the Dorian. We'll call it the Dorian position. It's that position that has the ring finger instead of the middle. It's moved up basically.
Oh, I'm using my middle.
You use your middle on the second string. And what we're going to call, that's the C major. So your pinky's on C. Here your pointer finger goes on D. The same scale except for the ring finger on the second string.
That's how the ring starts?
Yeah, you can play all those notes. Again, it's a fingering pattern. It's the same fingering you've been using all along, just the pentatonic scale with some added notes.
Right.
You can use all the same pentatonic licks you've ever learned. It just lets you do it in a different place, and by adding a couple notes and landing on different notes, you get a whole different set of sounds. It really breathes some new life into all those licks, and it breathes some new position, some places where you can put the same licks and they sound different. It just lets you move around the fretboard more, and it gives you a different sound than you're used to getting.
Okay.
Those same licks that you've been playing will sound a little surprisingly different.
Okay.
They're gonna do the same moves, but they won't have the same effect. And since you're landing on different notes, it's gonna sound different. It's gonna sound good.
Okay.
So keep learning the fingering. We gotta go there. It's 25.
Okay.